Yeah, sure. My name's Ryan. I've been in Savannah for like 8 years now. This is flow art called Meteor Hammer, which is kind of a similar thing to poi, which you'll see that the just like handheld ball on string sort of thing. But when you connect them together along your shoulders, it's called Meteor Hammer or Puppy Hammer, a few different names. But then it lets you do cool.
And how long have you been doing it?
Meteor Hammer, I've been doing a little over almost a year now.
Okay.
Flow in general, I've been doing for like 5 years. Maybe around that time. I've been doing all kinds of different props. I started with batons.
Okay.
Well, technically I started with like twirling pencils.
Twirling pencils?
Yeah, that's where I started back in like middle school or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll show you one of my favorite tricks with this thing.
It changes color.
Right.
It's the heaviest.
It is.
What made you want to get into the art form?
I love dancing.
Okay.
This felt like a really cool way to engage with that. It catches people's eye.
Okay.
So it gets people up and talking.
It caught my eye.
There you go. It's a little less scary than fire, so people
Okay.
are a little more inclined to try it.
Okay.
And that's where I love having, like, we do a hobby share on every Saturday, which is like a little group that meets up and they do flow art stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
We usually get lots of kids from people passing by that want to mess around with stuff.
Okay.
We try to get the adults playing with stuff too.
What made you choose Savannah?
I went to college here.
Oh, you did say that. Yeah, you did say that. Okay.
I did game design.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I work here remotely now for a company called Undertone Effects.
Okay.
We do visual effects for video games.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a small remote company.
Right. What specific part of the game design do you do?
So it's visual effects is the stuff like explosions and magic and blood and stuff like that.
Oh, the VFX.
The VFX,
Okay,
the
I
stuff
got you.
that comes like, like everything that moves and is given life, but not like an animated character
Right.
and not like an environment.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, magic and rain and dust and lots of juicy fun stuff. It's very interesting work.
Yeah, I already know.
One's called Dragon Staff.
Dragon staff.
Yeah.
Why did they call it that?
That's a great question. I actually tried to do some research into it because I kind of assumed it came from some like more like Chinese martial art or
Oh, okay,
something.
okay.
It doesn't seem to. There's a similar thing that's like, I forget what the name of it is, like saber or something like that. That's like, if you imagine one, like kind of like a trident almost, a three-pronged thing on the end of it, but
Okay.
if this side wasn't here, so if it was kind of like this, and there is an art form from China where they do this sort of thing and do some really cool like spear moves with it.
Right, okay.
And I can't remember, but at least from the research that I did into the dragon staff, it just kind of came about of like a prop maker started popularizing it back in like 2002 or 8 or somewhere in the early 2000s range. I don't know exactly when, but it's not that old.
So before you got into the flow art itself, like, did you research where it originated from?
A little bit. It was like, so I started with twirling batons, which my mom had gotten me a baton when I was like 14 because I started like twirling other stabs and brooms and stuff, and she was like, let's get you something to like quell this habit where you don't break something in the house.
Okay.
So you can go outside and twirl your baton.
All right.
And I never did like marching band sort of stuff with it. It was more
Okay.
just like my personal dance escape.
A little solo thing. I got you.
And I would do my own thing with it. And then it wasn't until, only like 3 years ago
Okay.
that I've been doing baton for like over 10 years now.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't until like 3 years ago here in Savannah that I met somebody who did dragon staff.
Okay.
And at the time, the most elaborate prop I had was that it was kind of like a bamboo staff, about this long, but instead of the 3 prongs on it, on either end, it just had a ribbon draping off of it, and I would kind of like do some fun trailing stuff with it.
Okay.
But I met this girl, Lexi, who is an incredible dragon staffer.
Okay.
And I saw her doing it at the park. I was like, that looks amazing. What do you call that magical stick?
Right.
and I hated it when she first handed it to me because I was used to like twirling stuff like this, and dragon staff is all about rolling it on your body.
Okay.
And I was just not used to it at all.
Okay. How long did it take?
So I eventually like used hers a few times at different events, and I kind of like caught the bug for it. I did some like neck roll stuff with it, and realized like, oh shoot, I could really mess around with this. This was like fun.
Okay.
And then I was like, you know what? I got some dispensable income. What do you call it?
Disposable income. You got it.
Thank you. Dispensable. Disposable income. I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna get myself one and just see how I like it. It's like an investment in my fun future. And that was about a little over 2 years ago that I bought this thing, and been practicing it ever since.